to talk about is some fundamentals regarding the age of Aquarius. So let's get into it. Aquarius is, of course, the 11th sign in astrology. Now, the 11 frequency, being a master number, is much more naturally connected when it comes to things like metaphysics. And that is exactly why, since the age of Aquarius began on 9/11, 2001, people become much more open minded when it comes to things like numerology and astrology. Of course, it's ultimately the goal for GG33 to get numerology into the public eye and eventually into public school curriculums. Now, this wouldn't have been possible if we're still in the age of Pisces, or at least very difficult, because Pisces is the sign of religion. That's when religion was at its strongest. As the age of Pisces phases out, religion is slowly losing its power, the power it once had over society. And as far as GG33, it's really a matter of destiny, because although it wasn't officially created until 11/11 of 2011, it was on 9/11, 2001 that Gary himself started waking up to numerology, coinciding with the start of the age of Aquarius. You guys can go on YouTube, can find videos of Gary breaking down the 9/11 connections in great detail. Aquarius is the most open-minded sign. And in the age of Aquarius, people are more open-minded. But the elite planned for this 400 years in advance. See, they had to have some kind of countermeasure in place. Otherwise, they could have had a mass awakening on their hands. And the fact of the matter is, if even 33% of the people with souls woke up at one time, that might be enough to turn the tide with manifestation. Now, in a previous class, I talked about a man, a member of the elite, called Francis Bacon.
You're growing up. Joe?
Phone's on mute. Francis Bacon and his role in building the English language into the modern form we have today. Born January 22nd, the year 1561, 22nd day of the year, and an Aquarius. Well, that man also published a book in the year 1620, book called Novum Organum. And within that book, he established what would become the modern scientific method. What most people don't know is that even a few hundred years ago, even the layman or the peasant, so to speak, knew about stuff like astrology and alchemy and magic. They didn't know how to apply it, but they knew that it was real. Many of the things that are considered to be superstition in today's world were generally known to be real even a few hundred years ago. In the past, it was religion which kept the plebes from pursuing these things, because their religious leaders and institutions told them they would go to hell if they studied these things. Now, the scientific method was created and put out to the public 400 years ago, so that when the transition from Pisces to Aquarius happened, well, people would have a new authority to look to, a new religion, so to speak, to follow blindly. And that new God would be science. Now, I want to be clear, I'm by no means am I against science or the scientific method per se. The point here is that the elite are always 22 steps ahead of everyone. Back then, it was trust your God. Now it's trust the science, trust the experts. This was all planned out because the elite know astrology. Aquarius is the sign of futurism. And in each age of Aquarius, technology within society accelerates. The last time this played out was during the age of Atlantis, when technology accelerated to a point where it was basically indistinguishable from magic, ultimately leading to the self-destruction of that society and the sinking of Atlantis. There was a backdoor built into the system. And when things got past the point of no return, Neptune pulled the plug. Now, in current day, since the age of Aquarius began in 2001, there's been a sharp acceleration when it comes to technology. It's very possible that the age of Aquarius itself is being accelerated in this timeline due to the very fast rate that technology is advancing. The end game for this is what's known as the technological singularity. If you're not familiar with this term, let me break it down like this. The singularity is when the soul is stripped away piece by piece and replaced with the artificial until mankind completely emerges with technology and becomes the machine. What we're already seeing with artificial intelligence, with nanotechnology, with CERN, with Elon Musk pushing the neural link, things are moving much faster than could even be expected in the age of Aquarius. We're only about 2 decades in. Now, it's also very possible that within the next 50 years or so, we'll see a period of regression to balance things out. A mini dark age that could last a few years or a few decades. That is within the realm of possibility. The next key aspect of Aquarius, which is very relevant to us today, Aquarius is the worst sign when it comes to romantic relationships. And this is, of course, why Valentine's Day was put on February 14th. Not to your benefit. But Aquarius are also the most likely sign to date outside of their own race. And that is why the elite have been pushing interracial marriage heavily, both overtly and subliminally, since the age of Aquarius began. Through media, politics, even Google image search. The programming is there. Now, it would be nice to think that maybe the powers that be are actually doing something good for once to promote love. But I really hope that no one here is that naive. The ulterior motive here, what the elite really want to achieve with this agenda, is to mix all the ethnicities, except their own, of course, together until they become homogenized. And so all the unique bloodlines and cultures get blended together. And when that melting pot stew is done simmering, well, within a few hundred years, there may not even be such a thing as so-called black people and white people. The majority of the population would all be the same shade and have the similar features. And in doing this, the elite would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. First, a homogenized society and world, ethnically speaking, would be much easier to control because the strong values and history of different cultures would blend together and become weaker, essentially canceling each other out. Secondly, the elite would get rid of one of their enemies without having to fire a single bullet. The elite have had a vendetta against Caucasian people since the year 70 AD when Rome sacked Jerusalem. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the number 7, something I had planned to do on the 7th. See, 7s are often bad communicators in life. 7s often really struggle to put their thoughts into words. But 7s are also great problem solvers. So if you have 7 energy, well, you have the intelligence and you have the problem solving skills. There is no reason that you shouldn't be able to put your mind to the task of figuring out more effective ways of communicating consistently. Just because something doesn't come easy doesn't mean that it shouldn't or couldn't be improved. Now, communication may never come as freely to a 7 as it would to a 3, and they may never have as loud of a voice as a 33. But ultimately, the onus falls on 7s to learn to express yourself better in order to fulfill your purpose of teaching more effectively. 2023, 7 universal year, but it also has the number 3 on the end. 3 is the number of communication. This is a great year, not just for 7s, but for everyone to work on communicating better in an intellectual sense, in a clear and concise manner, to be able to elucidate your point and all of its layers. There's a difference between intellectual debate and what I would call political debate. In a political debate, well, each side is just trying to cut the other down by any means necessary. The focus is not about truth. That's just a pretense. It's about winning. Although, to be fair, the truth is always one of the greatest weapons, regardless of the arena. But a true intellectual debate or dialogue is a different sort of thing because, while each side may disagree, each side may not even like each other personally, there's still hierarchy, there's still ego, there's still, of course, a level of competition because competitive spirit is a catalyst. But the ultimate goal of a genuine intellectual discourse is about pursuing the truth of a matter and creating a fuller understanding of a subject above anything else. It's about deepening knowledge through exploring different perspectives, angles, presented by different, unique personalities. It's about being able to be objective when someone other than you makes a point that is logically sound, regardless of your agenda or your feelings towards them. See, argumentation, opposition, instead of being obstacles to creating understanding, they can become tools. That's a matter of good faith within discourse, which is something that is very rare within our world, where bad actors and bad faith debate have much greater volume. Now, just because most people are foolish, just because we may live in a clown world, that doesn't mean you have to become part of the problem yourself. In 2023, elevate yourself intellectually. It's a great time to deepen your understanding of how to communicate among peers, And sometimes through these methods, well, new discoveries can be made, original understandings can be created. If we look at the word learn, of course, it has the word earn in it. Whereas some people in life are better at earning money, knowledge has its own economy as well, with 33s being at the top of the food chain as far as master numbers, with sevens being the top earners of knowledge as far as the single digits. Sevens are definitely geniuses in life, and in many respects, they will figure out things on their own. But the thing about most sevens, they do need some hints. They do need some guidance to really level up. And that is where usually the 33, the master teacher, will come in. Learning is not a passive activity. Just as you have to strain your muscles to become stronger physically, you have to exert a lot of mental and spiritual energy to become stronger with knowledge. Now, just as some people are naturally more gifted physically and don't have to work out as much to be athletic, well, some people are more gifted mentally and they don't have to strain as much as others to learn. But to follow this analogy, even the most elite of natural athletes likely won't win any championships if they don't put in the effort. They don't put in the blood, sweat, and tears. And even the smartest and most brilliant among us won't be able to gain deep knowledge without straining and challenging themselves beyond their natural capacity. The word each is in teach because each person always has something to teach in life, even if it's indirectly. And if you're wise, well, you can learn even from people who are far less intelligent than yourself, or in situations which seem meaningless or superficial. And the smartest person you know, who might make you feel dumb by comparison, well, if they're wise, they should know there's something they can learn from you too. This is a key. This is one of the most important things to understand for Truth Seeker. If you have the right mindset and you have discernment, you can learn from literally anyone or anything in life. And with that, I'll open it up for a few questions. I'll give it about a minute. If there's no questions, we'll end off here.
Hello, hey, Jaymes, I have a question.
Yes.
Hey, all right, I was born 10/3, 1991, but like 6 ago.
I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey. All right. I was born 10/3/1991. I'm a life past 6 and adult. Um, I was told that basically family under 6, and I was wondering, is if I intentionally do things like in any aspect for my family, do I benefit better in life?
Yeah. I mean, as long as they're not bad things. You'd have to be a lot more specific than that. But yes, if you're 6, you absolutely have to take care of family first.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What kind of recommendations would you give for someone with the 7 in the like day of the birthday to get better at communication?
Did you listen to my class?
Yes.
Well,
I'll
that was
re-listen
pretty
to it.
that was pretty much my advice.
Sounds good. Thank you.
If you're a 7 life path, if you're born on the 7th, 16th, 25th, put your mind to the problem solving task of getting better at communicating. It's that simple.
Thank you.
Hey, I got a question.
Go for it.
Hey, does your parents' um, zodiac sign have any type of like lasting energy on you?
Well, yeah. You were created. You were brought into the world through your mother's body.
So both of my parents are roosters. Is that gonna have like any effect on me this year?
You might just want to check on them this year and see if they need any extra help.
Gotcha. Thanks, James.
It shouldn't have an effect on you, except indirectly because you're linked with them by blood. So if they
Okay.
have a bad year, it's probably going to suck for you too.
Right. Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
When it comes to numerology and astrology, and based on your wealth of experience and knowledge, how strict do you use it to guide your life? Are you very, let's just say, you wouldn't walk down a hallway with a certain number, or how do you make your decisions daily? Like, is it a guide or is it something that you're super anal about?
It's a guide. It's not a prison. The fact of the matter is, you could actually break down numerology not only in days, but in hours and even in minutes and even in seconds. But at that point, you just have to understand we're not machines. We have to have some free flowingness to our existence. If you try to break things down into minutes and seconds, you're probably just going to become schizophrenic.
Yeah.
So while you pay attention to the important things, the big things, like don't work out on a 7-day, follow the law on a 4-day, travel on a 5-day, things of that nature. But you don't have to make numerology into your prison.
Okay. And a follow-up question is, when it comes to astrology or the Chinese astrology, and enemy animals, it doesn't mean that our enemy animal we can't work with, but being aware that they're our enemy and working alongside with them, like at arm's length, that's doable, correct?
It's doable if you're willing to take a risk, I suppose.
I see.
Given the fact that we all here we know what enemy signs are, that most people don't even know that. So if you willingly enter into a partnership with your enemy sign, well, hopefully you know what you're doing, because the rest will be on you, karmically speaking.
I see. Because I have I created a very successful right now at the moment partnership with an enemy sign. And when I found out, I can't just sever the relationship, but knowing that it's an enemy sign, I'm being, precautious and arm's length, and I'm not trying to say that this enemy sign and I will grow old together and be successful together forever. Not relationship speaking, but business relationship wise.
Sounds like you have a good grasp on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that kind of question too because I'm actually really good friends with my mentor. Um, I figured it out 2 weeks ago because I always wondered why we were always in each other's throats. Like we just wanted to say, you know what, f this. We just want to like uh, just finish this friendship and whatever. But the next day we end up freaking fixing it. And so I was just curious, and I asked him his birthday. And he was actually a rat. I'm a horse, and we've been together since 2012, and it's already 2023. So roughly almost a decade we've been good buddies, but we don't talk to each other. We don't call each other every day. He's just a mentor, but our relationships has been working really really well. So if I bring that type of awareness to him, would that affect me in any kind of way because that's my enemy sign, or should I just not worry about it because I feel like I have a good grip on it?
Did you say she or he?
He.
Okay. Awareness is always a good thing. If you could explain to him that your enemy signs and create more awareness around that, it would probably make things better.
Yeah, yeah. I let him know that. That's why he kind of feels like he wants to yell at me at the time, and that's why we yell at each other. But whenever I brought that to him not too long ago, he's been actually very mellow, very chill, and he actually understand what's around him because he always thought I was crazy whenever I talked to him about this numerology and astrology crap. And now he doesn't look at it like crap anymore because there's some hidden messages there that he doesn't understand, but it's real. So yeah, thank you for the advice because it really is helping out a lot.
So Gary's a snake, and we have a ton of pigs in GG33. So enemy signs can still learn from one another. It's just not a good idea to get in a relationship. It's not a good idea to get too close because that's when just unfortunate things can happen. Even if those two people who are enemy signs may seem to get along, maybe their numerology is compatible, you're still taking a risk. It's that simple.
Hey, is there such thing as division in numerology?
Yes, but I can't get into it.
All right, thank you.
Mostly what you guys need to be concerned with is addition when it comes to numerology.
Hey, one more question.
Go ahead.
If you divide 21 into 3 and you get triple sevens, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
777. That's three seen through the eyes of seven, or seven seen through the eyes of three. That's all I can say.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
777 was the year of the snake. Let's go one more question.
Hey, I got a question.
Shoot.
Why is it that all years of 33s fall on the ox rooster snake trine?
Got to look back at the first one, my friend. 33 AD was the year of the snake. That's where it began.
So does that mean that's the most powerful trine?
I wouldn't go that far. If we look at a pure 33 life path, well, the purest form of a 33 has to be a snake as well. 33 AD.
One more thing is, are we expecting a flood in the Aquarius age?
Well, we're expecting the sea levels to continue to rise 100%. That's why Aquarius is called the water bearer. That's why China is building their ghost cities inland. They're prepared.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, we'll be back in about a week. Be 2 more classes this month, and everyone take care.
Wait,